Okay, in this video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to make a messenger bag without a lining, but with a gusset. And this is one that I'm working on, but this one will be lined. As you can see, this one is lined. But this leather here is really not thick enough to well, I guess you could, but to me it's not thick enough to make a messenger bag without a lining. And basically what I'm going to show you is that the reason why we'll be able to do it without a lining is that I put a stiffener in the gusset, which allows it to have some body to it. And but the leather that you choose, it really needs to be a thicker leather. I think this is maybe like maybe like a 2 to 3 ounce. And you really need something that is more of a 4 to 5 to 6 ounce. This is much thicker, and this will make a better messenger bag without a lining. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. I was making one of my customers a bag, and I did a video to show you how I put the gusset in, and I started getting requests to show how to make the bag itself without a lining. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But like I said, you really need something that's much thicker. This is just so much thinner than this right here. But I'm going to show you how to make that bag. And matter of fact, this is the pattern for this bag here. That's the pattern for this bag. And basically what I did was that I just asked the customer what measurement that they wanted. You know, they wanted a 4.5 inch gusset. Well, they wanted a 4-inch gusset, and I cut it out at 4 inches. They wanted this, this is the font, which is 11 by 12 inches. And this is the back and the flap, which is 11 by 23 inches. So basically what I did, I just went by the numbers, and that's how I made my pattern. So we're going to make a pattern for a messenger bag without a lining. In the video that I had showed, where I was showing you how to put that gusset in, and it was like a 6-inch gusset. And this is the pattern from that bag. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to recreate that same bag so you can see exactly how I made that bag. So I do have all the numbers here. So I'm going to go by these numbers here in order to make in order to make the pattern. So it looks like I think I have everything down here except for the bag itself. And this one here do not have a flap. So this bag here will not have a flap like this one here does, like the bag that I just showed you. So this bag will not have a flap. So let me get the measurements from this bag here. And you can make it whatever size you want to make it. This is 16 and a quarter. So we're just going to make it 16 inches, which will make the bag actually 15 inches because we're going to take up for the seam allowance. really won't be a half inch. It'll really be like a quarter of an inch seam allowance, on, all the way around. So let's make it, let's make it 16. Let's make it 16 and a half. Let's do that. Let's make it 16 and a half. And again, you can make it as small as you want or as large as you want. So we're going to make it 16 and a half by 12 and a half. And we would do we're going to stick to these same numbers. We'll do the 6-inch gusset and the handle and the D-ring and all that. We'll keep all that the same. So we're going to make the pattern, which would be a 16 and a half by 12. And this is oak tag paper that we're using. You can find this online. If you go in and Google oak tag paper, you will find that there's many places online that sells it. We got ours from Gold Star 2 because there was no shipping cost. That saved us quite a bit. And I'll just use something to weigh this down. These are weights here. They're just little weights. I don't even remember where we got these from, but I couldn't even tell you the name of them. But you can use anything to weigh down your paper. Move this out of the way because I don't want to make a mistake and cut that, because that's the customers. Okay, so we need to do a 16 and a half by 12 and a half. So we'll go here. We'll do 16 and a half. It's about 16 and a half. And we'll do a 12 and a half. Now, if the telephone ring, just excuse that because I'm shooting this video at a time of day that we could get telephone calls. I had to change my shooting time schedule, so just excuse the phone if it rings. Okay, 6 and a half by 12 and a half. This is my 12 and a half here. 16 and a half. Okay, this is my 16 and a half by 12 and a half. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to round off my two bottom corners, and so I'll just use something with a round bottom, lay this on top, round this off. Now everybody have their own way of doing this. I'm just showing you the way I do mine. And now I'll cut this out, then I'll fold it, and then I'll cut my corners, my two corners, rounded corners at the same time. Now, for pockets, I'm going to put a pocket inside, but I'm going to also put a pocket on the back, on the outside, which will have a zipper. And I'll put a pocket on the inside, which will not have a zipper. It will be open. And so a pocket on the outside would be a 12 by 7 pocket. So I'm going to do a 12 by 7-inch pocket on the outside. And that's just, so you can put something in the back of the bag if you needed to. Because that bag that I made was actually made for someone that traveled. And they wanted something that they could put their passport and the boarding pass in. So that's what that back pocket was for. And there was a strap that went across the back that allowed them to pull up their suitcase handle and place that bag on top of there so it can ride on top without them have to carry that messenger bag. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Well, you know what? Let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and measure out the pocket. So the pocket needs to be 12 by 7. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the 12 by 7 pocket. So we'll do a 12, and then we're going to do our 7 pocket. My 12 by 7 pocket. Okay, that's going to be the outside pocket. Now let me get my rotary cutter, and then I will cut these out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my pocket. You can use a scissor or blade or whatever you choose to use. Using the rotary cutter and the ruler is kind of tough because the ruler will slide on you because this is paper. And the paper just so slick that it wants to continue to slide on you. So you have to make sure that you keep a lot of pressure on it. And we'll go ahead and cut this one out. And like I said, everybody have their own way of doing this. I'm just showing you how I do cut mines out. this. Just over just a little more. I'm just going to cut this off so I don't have to keep trying to work with the whole roll. So now what I could do, take this, cut this off. Finish cutting this pocket. You know, I have people that say that they have a hard time cutting a straight line. No matter what your line is curve or zigzag or straight, whatever it is, the key to it is cutting right on top of your markings. And that way you will cut it exactly the way it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this, because if not, it'll just be another piece of oak tag paper to me. About 7-inch pocket. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my rounded corners off. Now, like I say, there are many ways of doing this. Some people will score it. I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to fold it. I'll just take it and I'll just fold it in half. Then I'll cut these two corners at the same time. Okay, so this is my pattern. And then there will be back pocket with a zipper, and then we would also do a pocket on the inside. We would do the gusset, but we will not make a pattern for the gusset. We would actually just cut the gusset straight from the leather. So now the next thing we'll do, we will take our leather and roll it out and get it traced out. And this is what the zipper top would look like, what the zipper holder would look like. That's it. This is from the other bag, and I made it too small, but and I'm going to show you how to make a decision on how wide you want for that to be. Because when I did the first one, I made it too small, and I didn't realize what I needed to measure in order to get the right size. So this is the leather we're going to use. This is a side, and this side is 29 square feet. So we should be able to get everything we need out of it. But I want to make sure before I start cutting that we can get the strap. We can get everything we need out of it. So I'm going to shoot a much wider shot so you can see the full, try to give you a look of the full hide. Okay, this will give you a wider shot of the hide. Let me just fold it this way so you kind of see the whole hide. So one thing I want to make sure is that when I start to cut into this hide, that I can still get my strap, which I need to get it from this portion here. From this portion here, I need to be able to get my strap because it's longer on this side. So on this side of the hide is where I'm going to cut and get the front and the back and the pockets. So look at this. See this hide have these brands on them. I don't know if I really want to use those brands or if I do want to use those brands. So that's a decision I have to make. And I have to do that before I start doing any cutting, because if I cut and decide I don't want to use them, I don't know how, well, I won't have enough. So if this one here, I could use that brand right there. Let me just set this here. I got to be very careful about when I start cutting. So I could use that brand. And I guess I could flip this, come on over to this, to the next, the other side of the bag over here. And I guess I can do my gusset right from right here. And I can get my strap out of here. So I think I can make this work. I think I can make it work. Okay, now that I have the leather laid out, I'm going to go ahead and trace out the pattern. I'm going to not use this part right here, right now, which have an R and an E on it, some type of brand. But it does have this brand here on it, so I am going to utilize that. I'm not going to let that go to waste. What I did was I made a mark right here. To let myself know that this is about the center of that brand, and I'm taking the center of this pattern, and I'm lining it up with the center of that brand and hoping that I hit it just right. So I'm hoping I hit it just right. But I'm going to go ahead and trace this. Use a pen. I could use chalk, but I think I'll use a pen. And I'm going to trace this out. Like I said, everybody have their own way of doing things. This is just my way that I do it. I try to do it in such a way that it makes it simple for me, and hopefully it'll make it simple for you. But so, okay, so now what I need to do is that I need to get the other side of the bag, and I think I'll get it from up here, so I can preserve all of this over here for the strap, for sure, and anything else I need to get that needs a lot of room. And I think what I'm gonna do is I need to, let me go ahead and do this. Let me move all of this out of the way. I want to bring the leather down this way. And now we'll get the other side. Trace it out. Some people wouldn't even use weight to hold their pattern down. They can just trace it out with no problem without having weight. But for me, I have to have something to help me out. It's so easy for the pattern to move on me. We have those two, we have the front and the back traced out. And the next thing I want to do is I want to do the pockets. So this is the outside pocket. This is going to be my outside pocket. I'm going to also do an inside pocket, a large inside pocket and a small one that will hold maybe like a cell phone, and put a couple of business card holders inside. Just so it's just not a blank bag inside, but I'll do that later. But this is my front and my back, and I'll go ahead and get these cut out. Let's start there. We get that cut out, and then we can start building the bag from there. So I'm not trying to maneuver this whole bag all at once. I'm going to just cut this this out. So I'm just working with these 3 pieces here. And I'll just take my rotary cutter and start to, I'm just cutting right on the outside. Just so I don't have to be trying to maneuver this whole hide while I'm cutting. Now, I'll just cut these out, and then I'll come back and cut out the inside pockets. The inside pockets and the strap. The strap will be the last thing that I cut out. But I want to go ahead and get this here cut out. I'll cut out all my straight lines first, and then I'll come back and I will do the curve on the bottom. I'm just going to detach this part, each one of them. And now I can just go ahead and cut them out. Now I use the rotary cutter. Some people use different types of knives. Some people use scissors. When I first started, I only used scissors because really I didn't even know anything about a rotary cutter, and I tried using knives and I just couldn't get that good with using the knives. And then once I learned about the rotary cutter, and anytime I have a straight line, that is what I will use. That is my tool of choice. This is the rotary cutter. And when you're using this, be sure and close it every time you stop cutting. Because if you put it down with that blade open, it can cut you. So, for safety reasons, I know a lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to get cut. But I tell you what, if your hand hit that blade, you are cut. There is no jerking back in time to where you don't get cut. Okay, I'm going to cut this one out, and then I'll use my scissors to cut the round edges. Now this pocket here, we will put a zipper in it before we attach it to the bag. So you'll see how I put a zipper in without lining the bag itself. Now I just use my scissors, and some people, you know, like I say, they will use a rotary cutter to cut this round edge. I'm just not that good with it. Well, let me put it like this. I don't feel that comfortable with cutting a round edge. Quite sure I could do it, but I have not allowed myself to get comfortable with doing it. When I say that, I mean that I tell myself, if I mess up, I've messed up this whole piece, so I don't even take a chance. So that's what I mean by I have not allowed myself to get comfortable with doing that. Okay, so this will be one side, which will, I'm gonna make this the front, and I'm gonna make this the back. And we're going to put a zipper in here. That zipper will go right in here. So that will allow you to put something in, have a pocket in the back of the bag itself. So now that we have these cut out, the other thing we're going to do, we're going to cut out the pockets for the front, for the inside of the bag. And we're going to also cut out a couple of zipper pullers. Zipper holders that will attach to the bag like this. This one will not be on here. This is just one that I'm just using just to show you what it's going to look like. And we're going to cut out two zipper holders, and we will measure everything up and to where they're even on both sides. To where they're even on both sides, and they would attach like that. So let me come up with a pattern, a size pocket, because the pocket that's going on the inside, because it's going to be sewn here, well, it'd have to be smaller than this pocket right here, because once I sew this pocket here on, it's going to sew around the pocket that's already sewed inside. So this pocket right here would have to be larger than the one that I'm going to put on the inside. And the one on the inside is just a pocket to be able to put something inside. It's not to hold a laptop or a iPad or anything like that. Because if I did put one on the inside to hold an iPad, well, you know what? We may be able to, we may be able to put one in there that can hold an iPad. We'll see. Okay, now that that we have the front, the back, and the pocket for the back cut out, the next thing I want to do is I want to cut out the gusset, and I want to do a inside pocket that you can just put something inside, cell phone or anything, but it cannot be larger than this. It have to be smaller than this, because when we stitch this on the back, we have to stitch around the pocket on the inside, because we're going to stitch this pocket on the inside first, and then we will stitch this pocket on the outside. Now you don't have to do this, but I'm just showing you if you was going to put a pocket on the outside and stitch it all the way around without disturbing the pocket that you're going to have on the inside. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. You don't have to put a pocket on the outside. You can just put a pocket on the inside. Some people don't want a stitch showing on the outside if they put a pocket. Let's say, for example, you put a pocket on the inside. Some people don't want a stitch showing on the outside. For me, it doesn't bother me at all. But I'm going to show you if you was going to put a pocket on the inside and a pocket on the outside, the process of doing that. So this pocket here, and like I say, I have to make the pocket on the inside smaller. So basically what I'm going to do, this pocket here is 12 by 7. So in order for me to make a pocket small enough that I can sew around it, I need to make it, since this is 12, I'm going to take off 2 inches, so I'm going to make it a 10. It's by 7, so which means that I'm going to have a pocket that's going to be 1 inch smaller on each end. And so let's say I'm going to do a 10 by 7, 10 by 5. So let's make it a 10 by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to make it a 10 by 5 pocket. So let me get some pattern paper and we'll make a pattern for that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a 10 by 5 pattern just to make sure it's going to be the right size. So we'll do a 10 by 5, and we'll see if this right here would be the right size. And we're not making this pocket to fit anything particular. Sometime when I'm making a pocket, I will be making a pocket to fit something. But at this point, it's really not being made to fit anything other than to make sure that it's small enough to where when we sew it, we're able to sew around it when we sew on the back pocket. So we'll see if this will work. Like I say, you don't have to put a pocket on the outside. But just in case you want to, I'm just going to show you how it's done. Okay. So this pocket is small enough that when we attach this pocket to the back, well, then we will be able to stitch all the way around this pocket here. So this pocket here would be just a little small pocket that you can put something in it. And if you wanted to, you can make it to where it's something that's just big enough to put a cell phone or something else smaller. But I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to attach a card holder, maybe 2 card holders. One for cards that I'm going to carry that are my cards, and another card holder that is a holder for if I'm receiving cards from someone else. So I'm going to make and this is a pattern here that I already cut out. And you can measure up the size that you want, but this is one that I just had cut out. And this one here is, just to kind of give you the measurement. This one is 3 3/4 by 3 inches. So let's just write this on here. This is 3 3/4 by 3 inches. And this is just going to be our card holder. And what did I make this here 10 by, this is 10 by 5. And the pocket itself was 12 by 7. So this pocket here is 12 by 7. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and cut out these 2 pieces here. And let me go ahead and just take the measurement for the gusset. Might as well do that now. So the gusset, I always make it just a little longer. So, which I'm giving myself a 1/2 inch more here. So I'm going to measure this all the way around. So so my gusset needs to be 42 inches. But instead of cutting out a long 42-inch piece, I'm going to break that in half, cut that in half to where instead of cutting out a 42-inch piece, I'm going to cut out I'm going to cut out two 24-inch. No, that's too much. 44, what was that, 44 1/2 inch, make it 45 with an inch. Okay, I'm going to cut out two 46, two 23 inches long pieces. And you can make your gusset as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. So I think I'm going to do I'm going to cut out two 26 inches by, I think I'll do like a 4-inch gusset. So I will go ahead and cut these pieces here out. And those will be the next piece that I cut out. I'm going to make a pattern for the pocket that's going to go on the inside. This is going to be on the outside, and this is going to be on this pocket is going to be on the outside. So I need a pocket that's going to go on the inside, but when I sew this pocket on, I need to make sure that I don't sew all the way through the pocket on the inside. So this is the pattern for this pocket. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the pocket on the inside a half an inch smaller than the pocket on the outside. So when I sew it, I don't stitch through the pocket on the inside. And I'm doing this so I can get a measurement of just how wide I need for the inside pocket to be. You may do it a different way. This way here just make it simple for me by me taking the existing pocket and doing a half inch all the way around, and that will give me my measurement. Because I had cut out this size here. I had cut this size here out, but this is a little small, so I want the pocket to be a little bigger. So this is 11 inches by 6 inches. And this one is 12 by 7. So 11 inches by 6 inches is what I need as far as a pattern for the inside pocket. And I also need to be able to go ahead and make some tabs that's going to hold the strap in on each side. I need to make 4 of these tabs, and which will be like this. So I'm going to make 4 of these tabs like this that will be able to hold the ring that we're going to attach the strap to. So I'll show you how to make these tabs, and you can make them whatever size you want to make them. They can be made larger. This is a little larger. This is much larger, and we won't go that big. We'll go this size because we want to do a half an inch ring holder. And you don't have to use a ring. I mean, you can just go just a straight strap, and I'll show you that also. But let me get some pattern paper, and we will make the pocket, this pocket here. So we get that pocket cut out, and we can get the tab cut out. And I don't really need to cut out the pattern for the strap. I mean, not the strap, for the gusset. Oh, also, we're going to, on the inside pocket, we'll put a card holder, and I think we may end up putting, we're going to put a different type of card holder. We'll put two horizontal type of card holders, and we'll put another little pocket that we can kind of split to where if you want to put a couple of pencils or pens in, you can do that. So let me get some more pattern paper, and we'll make those patterns. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a pattern for the tab, and I'm going to make a pattern for the inside pocket, and I'm going to make a pattern for a card holder that's going to attach to the inside pocket. I'll put two of these card holders, one for a card for cards that you're handing out and cards that you're receiving. And this is just something that I'm doing for this bag. You can design your bag to be in the way that you want to. I would also make another pocket that you can put pencil or pens in it, just to kind of have something if needed. So what I'm going to do is make this real simple for me. Since this pocket is already drawn out, I'm going to retrace it, which is a 12 by 7. I'm just retracing this pocket. This is a 12 by 7. And this is the outside pocket. Now I'm going to use this right here, this pattern here, that I took off a 1/2 inch, and go ahead and just take this one, use this here as my inside pocket. I'm just doing this just to make it simpler for me. And this pocket here is 11 by 6 inches. This just keeps me from having to go back and remeasure it. I guess you can say 6 in one hand and 1/2 dozen in the other one, but psychological for me, it just makes me feel like it's quicker for me. Now this pocket here is 11 by 6. This is the inside pocket instead of the outside. I don't know what I'm thinking about. This is the outside pocket. I did that wrong. Okay, this is the outside pocket. This is 12 by 7. And this one, this is the one I need to erase. This one is 11 by 6. So in that way, when I sew this one in, and then I sew the outside pocket, I won't stitch through this pocket here. That's what I'm trying to avoid. But I want to be able to have couple of card holders, and another little pocket on the side that I can put pencil or pens. So for my card holder, it is 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches. So I want to make a pattern that is 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches. I'm going to do 2.5 by 4.5. So I'll cut out two pieces of leather for this. So cut this out. And I'll just fold this. Now this is just the way I'm doing it. You can, like I say, everybody have their own way of doing this. And I'll just take this. So I'll have two of these sewn on here. And then I'll do another little pocket for a pencil holder, and I'll just use my ruler, and I'll make this 4 inches by 5 inches. So I'll do a 4 inch by 5 inch pocket. Four by 5, and when I split it, it'll just be a 2.5 by 2.5 inch little pocket for pen or pencil. So I'll cut this. What I'll do when I sew this on, I'll just sew around the 3 sides, and then I'll sew down the middle, and you can put pens or pencils in there. Now I'm going to do the pattern for the tab. And basically, to make the tab, normally what I would do is that I will measure out 2 inches by 2.5 inches. So I'll do a 2 inch by 2.5 inches. Like I say, you can make it whatever size you want to, but this way I can do a 1 inch strap, because we're doing a couple of side straps, and we're going to also do a shoulder strap. But these tabs is for the side strap. we're gonna also make some tabs for the side straps, but we won't make those right now. We'll wait until we cut out the gusset and decide on how wide we want our strap to be, or what size D-ring we will use before we do that. And then I'll just take this, just like everything else. I try to make it just as simple as possible. And then I'll just cut that. It's not as pointed down here, and if I wanted to be like that, I would take this and just cut straight up. Just like that. So those will be my tabs that will go on the outside I would have 4 of those. And I'm going to also put a 1-inch strap across here. And this bag here is made for if you're traveling, you have a strap across the back that you could just set the bag on top of your suitcase handle that lets up. And we'll put a zipper here, which will be for your passport and your boarding pass. And it's going to have 2 straps, 2 little short straps, but it's going to also have a shoulder strap. And it's going to have an inside pocket with 2 card holders and a pen holder. So the next step we'll do, we'll cut these out, and then we'll start putting everything, adding everything to the bag while it's flat. I've learned now the best way to do everything is while the bag is still flat. So the next thing we'll do is that we'll cut these pieces here out. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to trace out the inside pocket, the 4 tabs, and the card holder, and the pen holder. So what I'll do, find a good place on the leather that I can do that without compromising too much that I'm going to use for other things, like the strap. So we know we're going to use a strap for this part here. So this would probably be a good place to do that. Let's see here. I've got this brand here, so I want to try to avoid that. So I'll go to this side, and I'll cut them from over here on this side. So what I'll do, I'll trace this out, and I want to do my 4 tabs, the 2 card holders, and my pen holder. So I'm going to trace out this will be the card holder, the pen holder. I should be able to sew this so I can put 2 pens, writing pens, in that space. This will be the inside pocket. So I'm trying to trace this out where I preserve as much of the leather as possible. This will be the inside pocket, so I need 2 of these card holders. I think I can get 1. No, not there. I can get 1 here. By doing this, I could have 2 business card holders, 1 for the incoming business card and 1 for the outgoing business cards. Now, it may be very tempting to put this pattern right up against this one here. I never do that. I always leave myself a little space, because if I make a mistake in the cutting, I don't end up ruining the other one. So that's why I always give myself some space. Now I'm going to do the 4 tabs, which will hold the handle. And I'm going to put these handles on just so you can see how that's done. Even though it's going to have a shoulder strap, and the handle will be detachable, so you could, if you don't want to use it, you can take it off. Most people will leave it on, but I always tell a customer, if they don't want to use it, they can take it off. And most people like having that option to be able to do that. So what I'll do, I will cut this away from the hide, so in that way I am not trying to work with the whole hide as far as cutting everything out. So I'll cut each one of these out. Now, I like using the rotary cutter on straight lines. For me, it just gives me a better clean cut. Some people use other tools to do it, but myself, I like the rotary cutter for straight lines. And I've even seen people use the rotary cutter to do curves. I just don't feel that confidence with it to do that. I'm quite sure if I work with it, I could do it, but I've just never felt that comfortable with doing that. And I've seen people do it, and they're very good at it. Okay, so this is going to be the pocket. This is going to be the pocket for the pen, 2 pens. And then we'll cut out I'll just do one of the card holders, cut out one of the card holders and one of the handle tabs just so you can see how I do it. But I think I'm gonna also do I also need to do 2 more tabs for the side. So I'll do a total of 6 tabs. I'll do a total of 6 tabs, so I need to trace out 2 more because I need to put 2 on the side. I forgot about that. I'm going to trim this back because I did not cut right on the line. And I need to go back and do that. I try to always tell people if you cut on top of the line, everything will be straight. A lot of time, what we will do, we will cut on the inside of the line or on the outside of the line. I like cutting on top of the line, so everything will be straight. And I'll cut this with the scissors. Oh, I'm not sure where I put my scissors, but I'll get my scissors. I'll cut this out. This part here. I'll cut the rest of these out and 2 more of the tabs for the strap. Oh, here my scissors are right here. So what I'll do, I'll just cut this out. And you know, you can use whatever shape you want for your cards. So I'll do 2 card holders and 6 tabs. So I'll cut the rest of these out off camera. And then the other thing we will need to do is that we will need to cut out 2 1-inch, no, because I need to cut out the gusset, and I need to cut out the zipper holder, and my gusset is going to be 5 inches wide, so I'm going to cut out 2 inches, well, 2.5 inches. It's going to be 2.5 inches by, let's see, what is this here? Because I never try to take my zipper from tip to tip. I always leave at least 1 inch from the tip, well, from the end of the bag itself, if I'm going to do this type of bag. It's much easier for me to sew because we just have I don't even know why I do it, but anyway, but it is much easier for me to sew. I think I've had some experience where I tried to take it from tip to tip, and I just had some problems with it when I was sewing the side up. So in order to avoid that, well, then I just leave myself 1 inch from the tip. So I'm going to make this one 14 inches. Since this is 16 inches wide, I think that's what that is. Yeah, this is 16 inches wide, so I'm going to make this 14 inches, and I'm going to make it 14 by 2.5. So I'll have two of those because my gusset is going to be uh, five 5 inches wide. So this would allow the bag to expand at the right distance by having this 2.5, 2.5, and that'll give me my 5 inches, which will be my 5 inches for my gusset. So we will get these strips cut out and the other tab cut out. Oh, here my scissors are right here. So what I'll do, I'll just cut this out. And you know, you can use whatever shape you want for your cards. So I'll do 2 card holders and 6 tabs. So I'll cut the rest of these out off camera. And then the other thing we will need to do is that we will need to cut out 2 1-inch. No, because I need to cut out the gusset, and I need to cut out the zipper holder. And my gusset is going to be 5 inches wide, so I'm going to cut out 2 inches, well, 2.5 inches. It's going to be 2.5 inches by, let's see, what is this here? Because I never try to take my zipper from tip to tip. I always leave at least 1 inch from the tip, well, from the end of the bag itself. If I'm going to do this type of bag, it's much easier for me to sew because we just have I don't even know why I do it, but anyway, but it is much easier for me to sew. I think I've had some experience where I tried to take it from tip to tip, and I just had some problems with it when I was sewing the side up. So in order to avoid that, well, then I just leave myself 1 inch from the tip. So I'm going to make this one 14 inches. Since this is 16 inches wide, I think that's what that is. Yeah, this is 16 inches wide, so I'm going to make this 14 inches, and I'm going to make it 14 by 2.5, so I'll have 2 of those, because my gusset is going to be 5 inches wide. So this would allow the bag to expand at the right distance by having this 2.5, 2.5, and that'll give me my 5 inches, which will be my 5 inches for my gusset. So we will get these strips cut out and the other tab cut out. Okay. This is 3. This is number 4. Now I need to cut out 2 more tabs and I think I'll use, I think I can get the strips out of this. So the bag itself is 16 inches. 16 inches. So I need 2 14 inches. So I can get them out of this right here. So the first thing I want to do, I want to get me a straight line. In my way. So now that I have a straight line, so I need for this to be 2.5 inches. This will be 2.5 inches. That's 1. And I need for this one to be 2.5 inches. The second one. And I need for it to be 14 inches. 14 inches long, so I'm going to square this off. So I need for it to be 14 inches. Well, I just barely made that. Barely made that. Need for this to be 14 inches. These will be my zipper holder. Just kind of give you an idea. So my zipper will go like this. It will be attached to that, and this will be attached to that. And then I would get it measured up like that. This doesn't seem to be straight. So I'm going to cut out another one of these here, because this doesn't seem to be straight. It seems to be, see if I put it on here. Let's see, this is 2.5. For some reason that's not even 2.5. That's smaller. See, I even cut that out smaller. That's not even 2.5. So I need to cut out another one to make sure it's 2.5. This is not 2.5. This is only 2.25. So I have to cut out another one of those, and then we can start putting these pieces. Start putting these pieces together. Okay. What I did was I went off camera and I recut this other piece for the zipper holder, because the other one I cut too narrow, and I needed for it to be 2.5 inches wide, because my gusset is going to be 5 inches wide. So right now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do all my placements. This is going to be the back of the bag. So what I need to do is that I need to go ahead and place the pocket. Let me think about this. I need to think about this because I'm going to have to sew the inside pocket first. I'm going to sew the inside pocket first, because when I sew the outside pocket, it will sew around the inside pocket. So I need to sew the inside pocket first. And this is going to be the outside pocket. Well, that's going to be real close. So I need to get it lined up. But I think first of all, I need to put my tabs on. Well, line up my tabs so I know where my outside pocket needs to go. Because my tabs will need to come down so far so my pocket can probably only come down about this far, which is about about 1 inch from the bottom. So let's get the pocket lined up. I'm going to line it up 1 inch, 1 inch from the bottom, and the sides. Let's make this 2.25. Let's see how this works. This is only 2 inches. This is 2.25, so I need to bring this over to about 2 1/8. So 2 1/8 and 2 1/8 on each side. So whatever side pocket, if you decide to put a back pocket, whatever size pocket that you put on, you can line. This is how I line mine up. You know, other people might have their own way of doing that. In this way, I know that that my pocket is lined up evenly all the way around. So I'll take something with a sharp edge, and this is an awl. You can get this like at the leather factory. I'm not sure how much it costs, maybe about $6 or $7, but it have a sharp point on it, and what it does, it allows me to trace around this, and this leather is pretty good for this, to where you can trace around it
and leave. You can't do this with a chrome tan leather. You'd have to find another way to mark your leather with chrome tan. So I have that mark. So now what I need to do is that I need to find the center of my leather, and then so I'm going to do this the simple way, finding my center. So this is my center. So what I will do is I would take a ruler and place it on my center. You can just find your line to place on your center. This way you're able to line it up at the top and line it up with your center. And by this 5 being my center, but see, this is too low because that would come right down on top of my pocket. It would be right on top of my pocket. So I need for it to be up maybe to around 1.5 inches. And that'll give me some room between my pocket and my tabs. So if this is my center, I'm going to go over 1 inch, 2 inches. I'm going to make it 2.5 inches. Then I'll do the same thing here. I'll go over 1 inch, 2 inches. Let's do that. 1 inch, 2 inch, 2.5 inches. And then that will allow me to get these even. I used to have a hard time getting everything lined up even because I didn't have a technique to show me how to do that. So this is something I just kind of figured out. But you may have your own way of doing it. I just want to show you how. This is my center, and so now I have everything lined up to where everything is even. So now that I have everything lined up and even, what I can do, I can start constructing everything. But now I know where I'm going to put my my outside pocket, but now I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my inside pocket. So I have this here setting at 1 inch, 1 inch from the bottom. So that means that this pocket needs to be, so I can sew around it. This pocket needs to be at least 1.5 from the bottom. It's 1, 2, 3 inches from the side. One, 2, 2.5. So that means that this one needs to go over about 1/4 of an inch. See, this is 1, 2, 2 3/4, 1, 2. Bring this over. So it really needs to be. It really needs to be an inch and a half from the bottom, and 1, 2, and a little less than 2 3/4 from the side. So let's see how this works out. 1 1/2 from the bottom. So I will make this 1 1/2 from the bottom. I just want to try to get this lined up. One 1/2 from the bottom, and a little less than 2 3/4 from the side. That's it. So that's where I need to sew that's where I need to sew the inside pocket. Now I'm going to trace this out so I know this is where I need to sew this. Know where I need to glue it down. That's the whole key to doing this, is knowing where to glue everything down. But before I do that, I need to sew these two. You know, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put two card holders on here. That's going to be a little tight, so I might just go with one, and I'll go with the pen holders. I'll sew the top of this first, then I'll sew the pen holder around the side, and then one down the center, and then I'll sew the card holder all the way around, and then I would sew this to the inside pocket. So that would be our next step. But also, I think I'll check and see if I have enough. But if I have enough, I think I'm going to cut another font. And the reason why is because someone have contacted me about ordering this same exact bag. So I may sell this bag. I may not. I may just try to find the leather again and remake it. But I'll decide that before I attach the front to the back. But anyway, so if you see me attach the front and that brand is not on there, it's because I decided to sell the bag. I may not do that. I may just find the leather and redo this to sell. But anyway, that would this will be our next step, is to attach and sew all these pieces together, and then to sew everything to the back. Okay, I think what I need to do is go ahead and do the placement for the tabs on this side, which is the front. So that's my center. Just mark this, just in case that disappears on me. And I can't remember what I did this. See, so this was at 1.5 inches. Inch and a half at 1, 2, 2.5. So 1.5 inches. Inch and a half. Two and a half. 1, 2, 2.5. And then this one. 1.5 inches at 1, 2, 2.5. Okay, but you know what? I think see here. This is the inside pocket. Just gonna measure this one here off 1 inch from the top, and I'll bring it over 1/2 inch from the side. Okay, this is 1 inch from the top. 1 inch from the top. I want to do this marking before I start sewing it down. Bring this over because Okay, I'm not going to edge coat because I'm just going, this bag is just going to be raw because I'm not putting a lining in it. So I'm not going to do it in edge coating. But what I do need to do is I'm going to stitch around the top of each one of these pieces here to give it a finished look. And I'm going to go ahead and punch the holes for the handle to go through the strap tabs, well, the handle tabs. So I've got all these in place. So this is where these are going to be sewn. And on the inside, I've got this traced out. That's where this will be sewn inside. And go ahead and mark my zipper. And when I put my zipper on, I want to make sure that it's not too close to the zipper teeth. I want to give myself a little room so when I zip it up and down, it doesn't get, it's not too tight. So I will give myself a little room, and I'm going to balance off this. And the length of your zipper. Now this zipper here, now you can get a zipper that's longer, but this zipper here is like the ruler. This zipper is 18 inches. It's 18 inches long. So we would attach the zipper to the zipper holder, but we're going to punch the holes in here so we can slide the strap, the handle off into these tabs. So let me get that set up. But you know what? Let me go ahead and mark my zipper before I move this. And basically what I'm doing, I'm just putting a mark with this chalk on each end, and now I can just take the other side and line it up and mark it. So when I get ready to glue it and sew it, I have something to go by. Okay, so we've got all these pieces marked. I'm not going to use that. So what I need to do is that all four of these I need to punch holes and cut a line. So what I will do is that I will measure I'm going to measure a 1/2 inch I'm measuring a 1/2 inch down and a 1/2 inch in. And normally, it depends on the type of leather you use. You want to do this on the back side, and you can do this on the back side with a pin. But this right here, this leather here, would allow me to just rub this off. So I went a 1/2 inch down, a 1/2 inch in, and then I'll punch my holes right at these marks right here. So I'll just punch my hole here. So I just punch my holes. Then I'm going to just cut across this line here. Like I said, normally you want to do this on the back side. And whatever tool that works best for you. But I'm going to use this X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to cut it right on top of this line here. Let me punch this hole here one more time. And that opens this up, because the handle is going to be made like this. This is just a small version of it, and then it will go off in here like this, just to give you an idea what this would be like. So this would be like that, and it will fit. It will fit on here like that. So just kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like, and it'll be a handle that you can carry. But we may end up putting it to where we have, and I'm quite sure I will do it, to where we have rings on it, so we can attach it and detach it if needed. So you'll see how that's done. But that's the purpose for doing this. So I'll go off camera and I'll cut the rest of them, and then we will come back, and then we will start to glue everything on, and then start to sew it. Okay, I went off camera and I cut the rest of the tabs, the handle tabs, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this last one on camera so you can see how I did it from the back side. And basically what I did was I used a pin on the back side because it's not going to show. I did a 1/2 inch from the top down and a 1/2 inch in, and the same thing on the other side, a 1/2 inch in, and then I punched my hole, then I use the X-Acto knife. I just cut it right on top of the line. And that's it. So we have all of the handle tabs cut. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and sew the top of the I'm only going to use one card holder, so I'll sew the top of this pocket, the top of the card holder, and the top of the pen holder, I think I would also go ahead and glue the zipper tab on and sew them also. So that's our next step. So let me get some glue and we'll glue the zipper tabs on. Make that our next step. Okay, I'm going to use contact cement glue, and so basically what I will do is that I will line up my zipper where I want to. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure off a half inch, a half inch on the back side of the zipper, because that's going to be my glue line. And I'll just use some chalk just to mark this off. This will be my glue line. I'll do this on both pieces. And you can come up with your own technique, a way of doing it. Other people may do theirs differently. I'm just showing you the way I do mine. I'll mark off a half inch. And then what I will do is that I will glue. Now first I will see where I'm going to line up my zipper, which will be about right here. Now keep in mind, when you attach the zipper, you want to make sure that your zipper is not too close. I mean, the tab is not too close to the zipper teeth. If so, you might have trouble when you zip it up and down. It'll be too tight. So what I do, in order to avoid it from being too tight, I won't put it so close. And some people won't even use any glue to attach the zipper. You can use, there's also some tape. Some double stick adhesive tape you can use if you don't want to use glue. I'll let this dry for a minute and then I would attach it. And the reason why I want it to dry is because I don't want it to be messy if I have to pull it back up. In fact, let me go ahead and glue this. And if you notice, I only marked one side of the zipper because I'll use the side that I marked is what I will use to line up the other side. Now this helps dried a little bit. Now we take this, and I want to make sure that it's not too close to my zipper teeth. And I'll just turn it over, flatten this out, and I'll do the same thing on this side, and I would register this side by lining it up turn this over. And with this chalk, I could get it off, all the way off, if I would just take a iron and heat it up and just go over it, just to, you know, enough to take the chalk off. But I'm just going to rub it off. So now the next thing we will do is start our sewing process. So now we'll be able to sew the zipper and the other pieces. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just sew across the top of this. This is where I'm going, this pocket here is what I'm going to use to put pens or a pencil. So I'm just sewing across the top to give it a finished look. And remember, I'm not doing any edge coating. And the reason for that is because I'm not putting a lining in this bag here. And I always set my stitch at a long stitch. Some people don't like a long stitch. Some people like a short stitch. I like the long stitches. For me, it's I have less problems, and it takes me less time to do the work that I'm doing, unless I'm doing something real small. If I'm doing something real small, I will use a short stitch. But I always use a long stitch. And what this does, this just give it a finished look. You don't have to do this, but it just gives it a finished look. That's what it looks like. So then I'll sew across the top of this. This is going to be the inside pocket. And remember, everything that I'm showing you, this is just the way I do what I do. It doesn't mean this is the only way to do this. Other people have their way of putting a bag like this together. I'm just showing you the way I put it together. Now, I'm going to change the foot to a zipper foot. And this is a right side zipper foot, which means that the difference between the zipper foot and the regular foot is that the zipper foot only have one piece here. The other piece on this side is missing. So that allows me to sew without anything touching the teeth of the zipper. Then the regular foot, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. See, the regular foot have two pieces and the zipper foot only have one. So the zipper foot can sew without hitting that zipper. So that's why I'm changing to the zipper foot. And you should be able to find a zipper foot wherever you purchase your machine. If they do not have it, there's a website, I think it's called TexCut, TexCut, I think that's the name of it, .com. That's where we found this zipper foot. But a lot of times, if you purchase your sewing machine from a dealer or from someone that sells sewing machine or repair sewing machine, they probably sell the zipper foot. If not, you can find them online. And I think we paid I want to say $18 for this one, but I've seen them as low as $12, and it just depends on what type of foot it is and what type of machine it is and where you get it from. And it doesn't take anything to change it out. So what I will do, and what I'm doing is that I'm using the edge of this foot here right on top of this line as my guide. That's my guide. But you can, use whatever you want to use as far as how far over that you want your stitch to be. But whatever you start with, that's what you want to finish with. So I'm going to use the side of the foot and the side of this leather here as my guide. But I also want to make sure that I do at least 4 stitches, 4 back stitches, because I want that stitch to hold, because that zipper is going to be taking a lot of stress over a period of time. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing 5 back stitches. Now I'll go ahead and do my stitch. Now when I get to here, I'm going to do 5 back stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what that does, that locks my stitch down, my zipper down, because that zipper is going to take a lot of stress. Every time it opens and closes, it's taking stress. So I do this just to kind of ensure myself that I don't have to see this bag again because of the stitches coming out. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. I just turn it around. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my! I made it through there. My foot wasn't even tight. wasn't even tightened, but it allowed me to make it through. Thank God for that, because I would have to redo that again. But it's gonna come off anyway for my next the next thing I need to stitch. So that's something good to see. Always remember to tighten up your foot. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Cut this off. Now our next step is that we will start to attach the pockets to the bag itself. And see, when I sew this, and that's why you want to make sure that your zipper holder is not too close, because when you zip it, you don't have any problem with it being too close to where it's hard to zip. So that's what you want right there. Okay, so we will now do the next part, which will be to sew these parts on, and then we can start attaching the pockets, and then we will attach the zipper. That's our next. Okay, next thing I want to do, I've already changed change out the zipper foot back to the regular foot, because what I want to do is I want to glue these these pockets, well, the pocket and the card holder on, and I'm just putting a little contact cement glue around the edges, and this is just to hold it until I can sew it. And I'm just putting it around the three edges. And this is contact glue that I got from Lowe's. I think Home Depot sell it. It was like $30 a gallon. It's called DAP, D-A-P. You get it for like 30 bucks for a gallon of it. So I'm just going to take this where I've already lined it out where I want to put it. But for this pen holder, I'm going to also, see, I can just make this here just one little pocket that, you know, that a cell phone can slide off in there. But I think I'm gonna make it for like a pen holder. Yeah. And so what I'll do, I'll make this 2 inches. I'll do a stitch here. And I'll make this side here 1 1/4. So that allowed me to be able to put a pin in each one of those. And like I said, I could just use this pocket here as a pocket for a cell phone or something. Okay, so I just stitch these all the way around, and I'm going to do 5 back stitches where I start and 5 where I stop, for the same reason of stress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'll just stitch all the way around. Do my 5 back stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll come back and stitch this after I stitch down the card holder while my glue is holding. I don't want my glue to get weak on me. That's loose. Tighten this up. Okay. So the same thing here I'm going to do. 5 back stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what I'll do, I'll stitch right on top of these lines that I drew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just do one back stitch. Excuse me. So it was no need for me to do 5 back stitches down here, but at the top I needed to do that. Same thing here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just do my one back stitch. And I think what we'll do, we will put this pattern on our website if you want this pattern. But by watching the video, you can make your own too. Some people don't care to go through that. They'd rather just get the pattern and go to work. So we'll have this pattern available. So this is going to be the inside pocket. So now we can start constructing the rest of it. Okay, the next thing what I want to do is go ahead and do my zipper for the outside back pocket. So I'm going to take my measurement, and because this is not lined, I'm just going to draw on the back of this. So what I'll do, I will go 1 inch. I'm going to go 1 inch from, this is going to be the top of the pocket. And I'm going to go 1 inch from the top of the pocket down and start my zipper window. So I will measure 1 inch from the top of the pocket. I can use this pen on the back because you won't be able to see this once the pocket is put on. And then I'm going to make my window a quarter inch open window. So I'm going a quarter inch from this line down. So it's my quarter inch. And then what I'm going to do from the side, I think I'm going to go make it 2 inches from the side. That'll give enough room to put your hand into the pocket. So I'm going 2 inches from the side. So I'll just make my little mark here. Same thing on the other side. Make my mark. Now what I will do, I'm going to put a starting point and a stopping point on each side, because I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Because the rotary blade is round, and if I go too close, I can go past that line, and I don't want to do that. So I will cut this out. Now, as I'm cutting, I'm going to make sure that I'm cutting with the ruler setting where if I make a mistake, I will cut on the inside of this pocket. Instead of if I put the ruler here and I make a mistake, I'm going to cut into the pocket itself. So just to be safe, I will put my ruler, so if I cut and make a mistake, I'll cut into the pocket. Stop my cut there, and I'll do the same thing. I'll turn this around. Start and stop my cut. Now, I did not cut all the way up to this line because, like I say, it's easy to cut past that line with the rotary cutter because it's round. So I will use the X-Acto knife, and you can use whatever tool that works for you. And I'll use this just to cut up to this line here. And then I will use another blade that is more squared so I can cut across here. And this set here of X-Acto knife, if you just Google it, you will find a couple of places that sells them online, and I think they run around $14 for the set. But it's nice to have. Some place would try to just sell you one knife, but it's good to have the set. So I'll just cut that out. And do the same thing on this end. So this is the window, and I will glue my zipper in here. So I'm going to glue the zipper in, and then after that, the next thing we will do, we will sew it. We will sew the zipper in. And this is contact cement. I don't need to put a lot, just enough to hold it. until I sew it. And I'm not going all the way up to the edge of the window because I don't want the glue to be seen once the zipper is in. Okay, now I'm gonna let this dry for a minute. Then I'll just take my zipper. I want to make sure that the puller is laid back so when I lay it in, I have no problem with it. But and I want to try to get it as straight as possible inside the window. And I just press down. Now I won't cut this zipper until after I've sewn it onto the pocket itself. So we will let this set, and then the next thing we will do is that we will sew around the zipper. And after that, we have a couple more pieces that we need to put together. And then after we do that, then we can start putting the bag together. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to sew the zipper inside of the zipper window. But I'm going to change from the regular foot to the zipper foot. And the zipper foot that I'm using is a right-sided zipper foot. And what that means is that, let me take this one here off, take the regular foot off, and show you what I'm talking about. I'll take this part here to explain it. What that means is that the regular foot, it have two parts to the foot. The zipper foot only have one part, and it's to the right. See how it's to the right, and it's missing the one to the left. So which means that I can sew this and get close to the zipper without having this part of the foot here hitting the zipper. So that's why I'm using a right-sided zipper foot to sew this. So I'm going to change this out. Let me take this other part off. This is not difficult to do. Your machine may be a little different as far as exchanging them, but normally it's just one screw. This one here have two screws. One we take all the way out, and one we just loosen, and then add that part of the zipper foot. And this one here we had to take the screw all the way out in order to get it off. But like I say, your machine may be just a little different, but it's nothing difficult to do. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start my stitch from the top here. And because I really don't have anything to gauge by as far as
where I should, how wide my stitch should be. So basically what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just kind of set it up to where I'm using this foot right here, this part of the foot right here, which is this, and I'm going to line it up. I don't want to be too close to the zipper. So I'm just going to line it up where I can see just enough leather between this foot and the zipper teeth, and that's what I will stick to. That's what I would focus on, is how wide I have between this part of the foot and the zipper teeth. So you may use some other mechanism or some other way of judging how wide you're going to have your stitch, but that's what I do. I will just look at the side of this foot and how much leather I have between it and the zipper teeth, and I would try to maintain that width. Okay. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to sew all the way around back to where I started, and then that's where I would do my back stitch. Now I'm going to stop right before I get to the zipper, and I'm going to make sure that the needle is down inside of the zipper puller. And I'm going to zip it back so I can sew past that. Then I will sew across. Now, keep in mind that I may not get exactly the same width that I did from the top that I'm going to do on the bottom, but that's okay. As long as whatever width that I start with down at the bottom, I just want to keep that same width, and that way it looks straight. And so don't. If you don't get it the same width that you have it at the top, that's okay. It's okay for it to look like that. But I do try and get as close as possible. So if I turn it now, I am too close. So I'm going to do a half of a stitch to try and get me somewhere close to where I was at. So I'm going to act like I'm going to do a full stitch, and I'm going to take my back stitch and I'll push it down halfway, and then I will take the needle down. Again, I will make sure that the needle is down. In reality, I really don't like what that stitch looked like. It looks too straight, which means that I should have this a little tighter.
I'm not going to pull it out and re-sew it. Now I'm going to sew across the teeth. Now, right now I'm hitting the teeth. So what I have to do, I have to take the back stitch and take it forward or back until I can find a place. Now, because I can't find a place to go down, what I'll do, I'll raise the foot a little bit and I just move the pocket where the zipper kind of moved just a little bit to where the needle will go down and go in between the teeth. So that's how I was able to find a good place to. Now I'm going to cut this stitch because it's coming out. And I'll just stitch right back over it. Now I'll do a back stitch. And that's it. So now I'm going to cut the zipper. And now this will be, I will be able now to go ahead and sew this onto the back side of the bag. And I think the next thing we'll do is we will do, there's going to be a strap that will be able to hold the luggage for this bag when this bag is sitting on top of the luggage. And I think that's the next piece that we will do. And after that, we'll start putting the bag together. Burn this. That's it. Okay, now that we have the pocket sewn, well, the zipper sewn inside the pocket, I'm gonna go ahead and cut. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this zipper off. Now, which this pocket will go here, which is the outside pocket. Now, the next thing I need to do is I'm going to sew these on the handle tab. I will sew these on. But what I need to do now is go ahead, I need to cut out a 1-inch strap that's going to go across here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out the strap, which will be the side strap. And that's going to be a 2-inch wide strap. In most of my videos, I've always used a spring hook to attach the strap. This time I'm going to use a slider. So it's not going to have a buckle on it. It would have a slider. And this is a 2-inch wide slider. So I'm going to cut out a 2-inch wide strap for the slider, which will be the strap. and I'll show you how that's going to attach. And I'm going to cut out a, like I say, a 1-inch strap that's going to go across here. And the way this bag is being designed is that if someone travel, well then instead of have to carry your bag along with your luggage, you'll be able to take this bag with this strap, that pull up handle on your luggage. You'll be able to just set this bag on top of your luggage, and that strap will hold it on. So let me prepare to cut a 2-inch strap, and we're going to cut, where's my notes? I think we're going to do a 5-inch gusset. I have my notes here somewhere, but anyway, I'll find it. But we're going to do a 5-inch gusset, and so we'll get that cut out. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we're going to do a 5-inch gusset, and we'll get that cut out. So that's our next step. I'm going to cut out the 5-inch gusset, 5-inch wide gusset first, and I'm going to cut it out in 2 pieces. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from this side all the way around to get my measurement of how long I need for it to be. So my gusset is, now what I always do is do like a 1/2 inch longer, just to make sure that it's longer than shorter. So let's say it's going to be 41.5 inches. But let's just go ahead and make that 42, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut out 2 pieces. So this is my center, it's 21. My center is setting at 21, so I'm going to add a 1/2 inch on each side for the seams, which will make it 21.5. So I'm going to make it 21.5 by 5 inches. So we're going to cut out 2 pieces, 21.5 by 5 inches. And this ruler here, let me get another ruler. This one here is all beat up. Okay. This ruler here is 23.5, and we need a 21.5 by 5 inches. So this ruler is 5.5 inches wide, so it's perfect for what I want to do. Now the other thing, I need to be aware of where I'm cutting my hide. So I make sure I keep an area that's long enough to do a long strap. So this hide seems to have a lot going on this side as far as how long it is. So I need two 21 by 5. So I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can get both of them right here. So I'm going to trace this out. I do my pen. Okay. No, that's a marker. Let me get my pen. Okay, so I need to get 21 and a half by 5. So I'm going to go this is 23. By 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To 21 and a half by 5. I'm gonna go ahead and just go with 22 just to be safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 of these. One, two, three, four, 5. So I actually marked out 22 by 5. This would be my gusset. So I'm going to cut these out. Cut this. Okay. Now let's cut it this way. cut it down the middle. Okay, now this is going to be the gusset. We'll stitch these together. Now we're going to also put a stiffener. We'll put a stiffener in here. That's what's going to allow the bag to stand up on its own. So that's the only part that would have some lining in it. The lining would not come all the way to the side. It would just cover the stiffener. So that's our gusset. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to cut out a 2-inch strap for the shoulder strap. Now this is a strap that I pre-cut out, which is a 1.5 inches that I cut out for something else. So I'll take off a part of this and cut out our 1-inch strap from this right here. But for our shoulder strap, we're going to cut it out from this hide here. So I'm going to do a wider angle so you can see how I cut it. Oh, just, okay. What we're going to do, we're going to cut a 2-inch wide strap. And what I'm doing, I'm using a strap cutter. Look at my pliers here. When these come brand new, they come with like a wing nut to where you can turn it with your hand. But this one broke, and I just put another screw on there instead of paying $15 for another one. So it works just fine. But it have a ruler on here. So I'm going to do a 2-inch strap. So here's my 2-inch right here. That's my 2-inch right here. So I'll just line the 2-inch up with this. Turn around so you can see it. I'm just going to line the 2-inch up with the side of this right here. So I'll just line this up at 2 inches. Tighten it down. And now I'm going to roll this out. And I'm going to cut 2 inches. Now the key to cutting this straight is that you want to keep the hide right up against the side of this strap cutter. That's the key to this, is keeping that close up, right up against it. So I'm just going to cut a 2-inch strap, but I'm going to also make sure that this fits. It should, but I want to just pre-test it anyway. Yep, fits perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this. So this is going to be the strap for the side of the bag, and I'm going to cut. Now, also, I just want to point something out. When you're working with this tool, be very careful. There's a little razor blade. There's a blade inside. If this right here is pushed down too far, the top of that blade sticks up, or it can stick out from the bottom. If you push your hand down on there, it will cut you. So be very careful with using this tool here. Okay, so I need to put it back the way it was, so if the next person using it do not get cut accidentally. Okay, now that we have the strap cut out, now we're going to cut out the 1-inch strap that we need. So I'm going to take part of this 2-inch strap, and I'm going to cut a 1-inch strap that needs to go across here, across this pocket. So I'm going to need that strap to be 13 inches long by 1 inch. So we're going to do 13 by 1 inch. So let's cut this off first. And now let's cut off 13 inches. I'm going to cut it out 14 inches because I need to give the tip a shape. So that would allow me to have enough to cut the tip off. So now I need to make this 1 inch wide. So basically what I'm really doing is cutting it in half, because well, not really, because I guess this is, I thought it was, yeah, not cutting it in half because the strap is 1.5 inches wide. So I'm just taking off 1 inch. Okay, so this strap is going to go across here. So we have the gusset, we have the shoulder strap, and we have this back strap. So the next thing we'll do is that we'll start putting the gusset together, and the strap here, and the shoulder strap. And after we do that, really we'll start putting the bag together, because at that point we would have most of the components, because one component we do not have is the tab, the strap tab for the side of the gusset. It's going to be a little bigger because it's going to be for a 2-inch ring. So, but other than that, after we start putting these together, we really will start to construct the bag.